Don't be that guy in Thailand. There's always that guy. You know the one, loud, entitled, red-faced, and convinced the world revolves around him. He's not limited to one country or culture. He's everywhere, backpacking through Asia, shouting at a bar girl in Pattaya, arguing with the 7-Eleven clerk over 5 baht, or causing chaos at an airport check-in counter because someone dared to tell him no. Thailand has its share of idiots. It does. And unfortunately, many of them are foreigners who think that they can do whatever they want. They are truly clueless. And the truth is, Thailand may seem relaxed, but it's not a free-for-all. And the country runs on respect, subtlety, and the idea of not making life harder for others. You got to remember that. If you don't grasp that, you're setting yourself up for a miserable time. Now, let's be honest, there's no nationality that's immune to being a jerk. I've seen all types here, and each nationality brings its own brand of trouble. Israelis lately have been in the spotlight. You've probably seen the stories. Loud groups refusing to follow the rules, communes where they don't want to let the Thai police in. They get in fights. They act like they own the place. Numerous arrests recently, drugs, assault, general stupidity. They are the latest problem group, but let's not kid ourselves. It's a rotating cast. Australians have been making headlines too. Just recently, an Australian was arrested for stealing, and now you'd think a guy flying halfway around the world would have more sense than to risk prison in a foreign country for something so stupid. But there's always one of those guys. There's always that guy. Russians are known for driving like maniacs on motorbikes, running illegal businesses, or flexing like they're in some low-budget gangster movie. Indians sometimes push the social boundaries and are overly aggressive with women, or they disrespect the cues. And Americans, my own people, they often act like they're still in the United States, loud, argumentative, and always explaining how things should work. The Brits and the Aussies tend to let alcohol turn them into animals, shouting "Oi" at 3 a.m. and wondering why the locals look at them like zoo exhibits. It's a circus. And the Thais, they tolerate a lot until they don't. Thailand tolerates, but it does not forget. And here's the part that foreigners never seem to get. Thais don't like confrontation. But that doesn't mean they're weak. They'll smile, nod, and let you think you've won, but you've just lost face and maybe a lot more. Thais operate on Sanuk, that's fun, Jayen Yen, cool heart, and Kreng Jai, which is consideration. Those are not just pretty words. They are the invisible glue that holds the society together. When you shout or act like a bully, you're ripping at the fabric. You might think you're asserting yourself, but in reality, you're branding yourself a fool. You can get away with it once or twice, but the moment you cross the wrong person, especially someone with connections, you're going to find the doors closing very fast. That cop that used to smile at you, well, suddenly he's cold. The visa officer, uncooperative. The locals who once greeted you warmly, they don't want you around. You don't need to be Thai to understand how this works. You just need to know when to shut up and walk away. Thailand affects dreamers, drifters, dropouts, poor people, extremely poor people, but it also attracts people running from something. Some guys come here after a divorce, bankruptcy, or midlife meltdown. They show up expecting paradise that bends to their will, and when it doesn't, they get bitter. They blame Thailand for not being efficient or fair. They don't realize they brought the problem with them. It's their attitude. Now, when you arrive in a country where things operate on emotion, connection, and saving face, not confrontation, you can't expect it to adapt to your Western logic. Thailand doesn't care about your opinions, your passport, or your sense of how things should be done. You either adjust or you're perpetually angry. It's not about giving up your dignity. It's about playing the long game. You can either get your way for 5 minutes or live peacefully for decades. I know which one I've chosen and which one I'll choose every single time. Now, Jai Yin Yin, it's the best advice you'll ever get here. Even when someone's rude, even when you're clearly in the right. You see, most Thais don't respond well to visible anger. Losing your temper isn't a show of strength, it's weakness. When you're calm, they feel they can work with you. When you explode, they shut down. Let's say you're double charged, overbilled, or treated unfairly. If you raise your voice, they're going to do whatever they can to end the confrontation and not necessarily solve the problem. That might mean ignoring you, walking away, or even calling the police, not because they think you're dangerous, but because they want the situation gone. But if you keep your tone low, patient and firm, 9 times out of 10, you'll get what you want. They'll fix it quietly. They might even apologize. It's not about power, it's about style. So now, if a Thai is rude to you, of course, sometimes you're going to meet somebody who's just a jerk. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they hate foreigners. That's just the way that it is, and maybe they're just, who knows, maybe they're power tripping. So what do? The first thing is you don't escalate. You don't match their tone or body language because you're never going to win that way. Once you get loud or sarcastic, it's all about losing face, and they're going to dig in even harder. Second, you use politeness as your weapon. Kun, kap kun, mai pen rai. Small words show that you are not a threat, and it disarms people. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It means you're smart. Third, you don't take it personally. You're in a country of 70 million people. So if one clerk or waiter treats you bad, it's not Thailand and it's not their fault. You move on. There's another restaurant, another hotel, another taxi. And if you truly want to make a point, do it through the right channels. A Google review, TripAdvisor, or a calm message to management. That's the way that Thais complain, indirectly, respectfully, and in private. Thai police can be unpredictable, but if you don't want to be the one standing over a local, you don't want to be the one standing over a local when they show up. It's not a good look. And here is a pattern I noticed after my time here. Every troublemaker, no matter what its nationality, has their own flavor of stupidity. The Israelis, argumentative, loud, often in groups, don't listen when told no. They've earned a reputation lately. Dozens of them have been arrested for violence, drugs, scams, whatever. The Russians, aggressive drivers, drunk scooter drivers, the occasional scam artist pretending to be a local business owner, and the Chinese with their spitting and littering and ignoring cues, cultural habits that clash with Thai politeness. Of course, there's the Indians who can come off pushy or overly persistent in nightlife areas or wherever, sometimes crossing social boundaries. And Americans lecture Thais on how to do things better, always needing to prove that they're right. And of course, the Brits and Aussies, as I said, the drunk, disorderly behavior. Maybe they're fighting on Bangla Road or Soi 6 and getting arrested for stupid stunts while they're drunk. And I'm not singling anyone out because every country has its share of good people. The ones who come and act like idiots, they stand out and they make the locals remember. And the end result is that everyone from that particular country gets lumped in together, just like we lump in Thais. If there's a bad Thai, you lump in everybody together. Now, you can't do that. When one Israeli punches a security guard or an Australian steals something, then the next 100 from the same country walk into a store and they're eyed suspiciously, and that's how collective memory works here. You know, Thai is very polite. Thailand is almost always polite to a fault until it's not, because Thais are patient. They smile through situations that would make Westerners blow up. But once you cross the invisible line, once you humiliate them in public, the politeness ends very quickly. And that's when you're supposed to get the quiet revenge. Suddenly, the police show up. Your hotel loses your reservation. Immigration decides your visa paperwork isn't quite right. Or a few locals decide to teach you a lesson behind the bar one night. It's not about paranoia, it's reality. Respect is currency here. Lose it and you lose everything with it. I can't tell you how important that is. Just be respectful of people. Don't be a dick. That's what it boils down to. You don't have to love every part of Thai society to respect it. Sometimes things won't make sense. Sometimes bureaucracy can be maddening. Sometimes staff are lazy, rude, inept, or unhelpful. But the system isn't going to change for you. So learn to navigate it. A smile will get you a lot farther than a shout. 100 baht tip can fix a day's worth of frustration. And a calm tone can get a cop to wave you off instead of fine you. It's not about buying people off. It's about showing goodwill because ties are transactional, but they're not cold. They respond to kindness and respect. And if you give that back, you're going to get it back multiplied. So why do many foreigners fail here? Well, the foreigners who fail in Thailand usually do so for one reason. Ego. They can't adapt. They expect Thailand to be their playground, their escape, their cheap paradise. It's mine. But living here isn't a free ride. It's a test of patience, humility, and emotional intelligence. The guys who last here for decades aren't the ones with the most money or the loudest voices. They're the ones who know when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to just let things go. That's why I've been here a long time. Because I know the limit. I know you can only go to a certain point. You learn the rhythm. You don't argue with staff in public. You don't raise your voice. You don't act entitled. You keep your emotions under control. And those who can't, well, they end up deported, jailed, having to pay a fine, or just miserable. If you want to behave like you belong here, speak softly. You don't have to yell and scream. Dress like you care. Tank tops and flip-flops might be okay on the beach, but not in malls, especially government offices or restaurants. Dress halfway decent, you know. Don't touch anybody's head. Don't point your feet at people, and don't touch monks. You don't want to do those things. Try to smile a little bit, even when you're annoyed. You know, Thai smile for a number of reasons, but it diffuses tension faster than any argument. You just smile. Hello, my friend, even if, you know, you're pissed off at the guy. Learn some basic Thai phrases. A few words goes a long way. Number 6, and this is important, especially to the people who are dragged around by their wives and think because they're flaunting gold and all their money that the Thais really care about that. Don't do that. It just makes you a target. Keep it low key. Flashy arrogance draws resentment and thieves. Okay? And Thailand is not a country of thieves. Thailand is a lot safer than, say, America, okay? Be patient. You'll wait for service, for paperwork, for traffic, for whatever. It's just the way that it is here. Respect the elders. Always respect the elders because age matters here. You treat the older Thais with genuine politeness. And I'm not talking about feigned politeness. I'm talking about genuine politeness. Don't argue over 20 baht. Losing face over 20 baht isn't worth it. Do you really want to get into a brawl with a guy for 20 baht? Listen, I'm going to show him. He's not going to get that 20 baht out of me. Oh, my God. Get a grip, man. And remember, you're a guest. You know, always. Everywhere you go. You're always a guest here. They don't have to let you in the country. I know people think they're entitled to come here, but they're not. Now, Thailand does reward good behavior, and if you act right here, Thailand will open up to you in ways that are hard to describe. Locals will go out of their way to help you. Oh, my God, I can't tell you all the kind deeds that Thai people have done to me with me, for me, whatever, along with me, over the years. They've done so many kind things. They've showed me around. They've given me free food. They've welcomed me into their homes. You're going to get genuine smiles, good service, maybe even invitations into family gatherings. And once you are trusted, your life will get easier. Prices drop. Bureaucracy smooths out. People remember your face and treat you like you're part of the neighborhood. That's the payoff, being the opposite of that guy. Now, you can travel anywhere, Bali, Vietnam, Cambodia, and you'll hear the same complaints. These foreigners are ruining this place. And Thailand is not unique in that sense. What makes Thailand special is they are probably the most tolerant. But that tolerance is wearing thin now. I believe that. Tourism is booming again, and with that comes every flavor of bad behavior. The police can only do so much, and what keeps the country functioning is the cultural immune system, a quiet, collective disapproval that keeps order without violence. If you care about Thailand, if you actually want to be here long term, then be part of the solution. Be the kind of foreigner Thais like seeing. You're calm, you're respectful, maybe a little funny, maybe a little quirky to them, but never condescending. Don't be the loudmouth who thinks tipping 20 baht gives you the right to insult the staff. Don't be the one who yells, "Do you know who I am?" Oh my God, I hate that sentence. In English at a security guard, because the truth is they don't really care who you are. And neither does Thailand. Thailand doesn't care who you are. Thailand gives what you give, you treat it well, and it'll give you a peaceful, affordable, fulfilling life. You treat it as a dumping ground for your bad habits and frustrations, and it'll chew you up and spit you out. So if you really want to enjoy this place, just stay humble, stay calm, don't be a dick, and remember, don't be that guy in Thailand.